Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well on the channel. Please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you may do every time we put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. Another My Hammers 11 for you. I think we've done something stupid, but over 300. I need to count. But whatever it is, everyone's a good one, and today's going to be a good one. It's Jason. How are we doing, Jason?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks for having me, Russ. I watched a lot of your episodes. Well, I love a lot of your episodes actually, and yeah, being a West Ham fan, it's a pleasure to be on.
Absolute pleasure to have you on, my friend. I mean, there's plenty of them. There's over 500 odd videos on there, so there's plenty of people. You know, it's coming to the end, as hopefully, fingers crossed, of lockdown. But it seems that Netflix have given up putting anything decent on there now. So you know, people can carry on and watch hours and hours and hours of My Hammers 11. So I'm sure people will love that. So some people do. So you know, how are we doing, man? How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Very busy. It's all good. Yeah, just absolutely loving West Ham, to be honest with you. I think it's been a blessing that irony. I think it's been a blessing that West Ham fans haven't been in the stadium, to be quite frank with you. So I'm really interested to see how we get on next season. Hopefully we get behind the players and the manager and everything, and I'm sure we will. But as you obviously know, that you know, at West Ham, we've had so many ups and downs, and I think the fans do get on the players' back sometimes. So I think having no fans in the stadium has actually been really good for us, because it's given our players like freedom to play. So yeah, I just hope we continue to next season, and you know, once the fans are back in, we can all, you know, gather and support and fully back our players.
Yeah, I agree totally, and I think it has benefited us to start with. We've definitely not having fans in the stadium benefited the team. Got them into the groove. Now I think, you know, they're cacking. No, they can't wait to get fans back in the stadium. Do you know now? Because I think it just would give us that extra push, particularly now. You know, it would have been great to have some fans in there to see some of these great comebacks that we've been playing recently. And I mean, it's like the other day. It's like the Burnley game. It's just we've had so many of those sort of 3-2s, 2-1s, those sort of, you know, small victories. It didn't feel like we'd won 2-1. It felt like we were like 5-0 up. You know what I mean? It was a complete. I just felt we were totally in control the whole game. It was just really bizarre. Really bizarre.
Well, that's the thing with West Ham. I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, really, because in some ways this season it's been, you know, I mean, we're winning like we had like 2-goal advantage. I can't remember who we recently played, but it was a couple of goals up, and it was like we're cruising.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my goodness, they're coming back. And then what we did, we just kind of sat back, and it's like, oh my God, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But on the flip side, you know, we're 5th place, Russ. We're 5th. West Ham United are in 5th place. So whatever Moyes is doing, we just got to trust the process. But as a West Ham fan, it just gives us heart attacks every single game, to be honest with you. So it's nice to actually be in a position where we're not going to be relegated. We're nowhere near going to be relegated.
No.
But now it's a stressful situation, which is a good situation for us to be challenging for 4th place, Champions League. What the heck? I've never been involved in this situation.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
Different kind of WhatsApp groups where it's always about kind of Man United and Liverpool's and Chelsea's, and now suddenly, me being a West Ham fan, I'm kind of into these talks now where we're talking about Champions League. So for me, it's been, I mean, I'm embracing it, to be honest with you. I'm embracing it.
I know what you mean. It's weird because everyone's like, it was funny the other day we were talking about obviously the Burnley game, and it was like, oh, it's stressful. Oh, I'm going to be really nervous and stressed. It's like, well, it's different because you're nervous and stressed because you could of where you're going to finish in the league, rather than nervous and stressed, are you going to still be in the league? So
I'd rather have this stress.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take stress all day long, because
I've had that stress in the past.
Yeah, we're going to be, you know, and we'll see. Whatever, you know, I think obviously every game's gone past. It's going to be like another big game. Everton is the next huge game, obviously, because I think if we beat them, that's Europe.
Yeah,
but what competition? I'm not, to be honest, I'll be honest, I'm not really fussed what competition. It'd be great. I mean, Champions League would be amazing, but knowing us and our current and previous realms into the UEFA Cup and the Europa League, you know, we'll play someone like FC Berkakara and get knocked out, or Astra Gugu and get knocked out.
That's
So
West Ham, isn't it?
we spent the whole season playing fantastic football, getting to the Champions League, one game, that's it, we're out. Bye bye, see you later.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, wherever we'll be, as you said, it's been a great season.
Yeah.
As I said to you just before we started, you know, that Burnley game, that was our 17th win this season, which is the most ever in a Premier League season. Mental. And still 4 games to go, man. Still 4. And there's a lot to play for. There's lots of twists.
Yeah.
I think
big time. Yeah.
I think Leicester, I think, you know, they look, I reckon a lot of those teams, you know, the 2 above us, the 2 below us, would have watched that Burnley game and gone, shit.
Yeah. I mean, Leicester, looking at Leicester's fixtures to come, they, you know, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say anything.
No,
you never know.
no.
It only takes 2 or 3 games, and then suddenly we're, you know, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, the fact is, Chelsea got to play Leicester. They got to play each other.
That's
in
a
the
massive
league.
game.
That's huge. Chelsea have already got the Champions League in the back of their mind. In theory, Chelsea could win, I don't know if it's the semis or whatever, but they could win less games in the Champions League and qualify for next year's Champions League by winning it. So, you know, and plus Leicester, they've got the FA Cup as well, and Chelsea as well. But and that's the first time Leicester have been in the final for God knows how long as well. So, you know, similar to us getting into an FA Cup final, you know, for the last time, for a long time ago. So it's the same thing. So, you know, and Leicester's got to play Tottenham, and Tottenham are starting to get some momentum.
That's what I mean. They've got freedom now, haven't they? They've got freedom. They're starting to play a lot more attacking.
If Tottenham, could you imagine if Tottenham beat Leicester to get us into the Champions League or something like that? That would be so funny. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
You're
right. You're right though. It's all to play for. It's all
great.
To play for.
Love it, and it's great. And I was watching a video today, and someone saying it's nice to go into the Premier League, and it's literally into the last game of the season. We're still involved. There's still something involved for us. Even more so, you know, whether we end up in Champions League, Europa League, or the Conference, one of them. Well, what one? You know, it still was like, again, you tell us in August last year that this was going to happen.
That's what I mean.
You know, mental.
It seems even weird you saying that, like mentioning the Champions League and West Ham United Football Club in the same sentence. It's just like, it's I have to pinch myself. But anyway, remaining calm.
Exactly.
And just see. But either way, Moyes has done exceptionally well.
He has, really, the whole team have the backroom staff, and the team are playing well. I mean, you know, they just, and fair play to Moyes the other day. You know, with the Burnley game, he thought, you know, we'll have to go for it because we've only got the attacking players, so we've got to attack. We'll take that all day, won't it? We'll take it all day. But I think it's ironic that, you know, West Ham potentially breaking into the top 4 caused, you know, one of the biggest schisms in European football history. So, you know, with all the there was no timing. That was proper timing when they knew that West Ham were going to be in the Champions League. No. We'll start our own league now. And how have you been? Because obviously you're obviously a talent sports agent and stuff like that. So how's it been, like this weird time we live in now? Because obviously bookings and things like that must have gone like.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Super League gave us a bit of a scare last week because obviously it's just absolutely horrendous for football. So I'm glad obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, before that, to be honest with you, Russ, it was beginning of lockdown. It was obviously, you know, obviously my job is to get kind of talent on TV and kind of connected with brands and stuff like that. So when lockdown was here, it was it was so quiet. It was a bit scary at the beginning, thinking like, well, how long is this going to last? So obviously no TV bookings and no obviously brands have slashed their budgets and stuff like that. So it's been it was difficult, but as soon as the season was up and running, things just picked up, and it's all okay now. It's all good.
Good. And as you said, now things are starting to loosen up, and you know, every month there's another sort of road step in Boris's roadmap. It means things open up more, and you know, obviously we've had lots of ex-players on. We've had some people with current players. We've had, you know, celebrities who are EastEnders or whatever, and you know, they've had to. It's been difficult with all the filming schedules and stuff. So hopefully things will start loosening up a little bit, and it feels like there's real light at the end of the tunnel now. Do you know what I mean? Not just for West Ham, but for the UK.
We're so close. We're so close now. I mean, you know, just to kind of be out with your friends and family in like large numbers. It's, you know, a year ago it was like that was just the norm, wasn't it? Like going around to your mums or dads or seeing your friends and whatnot in large numbers, going to a pub or whatnot. But now it's like we've been restricted for a whole year. But now it's like, you know, we're so close.
It is,
So I think I have to say you're. Sorry, go on.
No, you go
I was
first.
going to say, no, just talking about episodes and stuff. What's the one? Oh, it's the Harry Redknapp. I've not watched loads of your ones, but the Harry Redknapp one made me laugh. His dog in the background just kept yapping and yapping and yapping. I was thinking, when's he going to put that dog away? And it just left the
Just turns up, yeah. No, we've had a few
But
of
that was
those.
funny.
I think it was McAvenny. He had his Dobermans, and yeah, I think I might do a sub series. You know, players and their
Players and
pooches.
pets.
Yeah, players and pooches. But
Love it.
although I think I think when everything starts to ease up a little bit more, there's going to be a readjustment period, isn't there? Because I mean, I live in Hornchurch, and I walk the dog round, and there's obviously the pubs, and they're heaving outside, and I wince. I think, there's a lot of people there, and it's not really, but you know, you've been sort of
what you do
beforehand to now. It's like, there's a lot of people there, and it's like the thought that, you know, hopefully by the end of the season we'll have 10,000 in for the Southampton game. That's amazing, but you're thinking, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people, isn't it? It's like, but it's not
from
really.
Nothing to 10,000. Considering how big the stadium is. Yeah.
Well, it's like when we had 2,500 for the Man United game. You know, that was weird. But also potentially, you know, with you know, 500 of them could be away fans as well, and so
it's a good point.
That would be cool, and you know, so it means, you know, West Brom away. I think that means we could have 500. They've moved the games, haven't they? They moved those the week before, so everyone gets a home game, which I think is really good. I think that's fair enough. You know what I mean? So, although they didn't do it when Liverpool had like so many games, they had more than games than everyone else, didn't they? Because their tiering.
You're right.
Yeah, isn't it funny?
Yeah,
it's funny. Greedy 6. In it, they kick their toys at the pram, but you know, so I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great, man. So we'll see what happens, man. But as you said, been a hell of a season, whatever happens in it. So anyway, first question, 11 minutes in. Why West Ham, Jason? Why is your club, man?
Why West Ham? Well, I blame my dad, actually. My dad took me to my first ever game. In fact, funny enough, me and my dad were talking about it this week, actually. It was Newcastle. I must have literally been about 8 years old. Yeah, about 7 or 8 years old. And he took me to this amazing St James's Park. It was just incredible. I remember walking up the steps, and as a kid, obviously I love football anyway, and obviously my dad's been a big West Ham fan, but walking up the steps, I don't know what I thought in my head what it would be like, but when I walked up them steps, my dad said my face was literally, my jaw just dropped to the floor, just looking at that pitch and seeing the players. And that's when I got my first like connection with West Ham, like properly. And it was just, it was the best feeling. And throughout the years, my dad has kindly saved up his money and bought me like season tickets over the years. And you know, Upton Park was it's just a real, I mean, you of all people know what Upton Park was like. It wasn't being a biased West Ham fan, it was the best stadium in the world. It was just, was so compact, and it was just absolutely rocking at times. The days of like Paolo Di Canio, and it was just phenomenal. We've had our ups and downs, obviously getting relegated and the tears and everything like that. But being a West Ham fan, it's certainly, it's like it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just,
no, you wouldn't, and that's why I think this season of relative success is so unusual to us, because we're so used to the speed bump, aren't we? We easily, like, so for example, the Burnley game, I know we're referring to it, but it's most recent, but the Burnley game, you know, West Ham of old, considering we had all these people injured and and this person there, we would have lost. I mean, last year we lost 3-0 and Roberto had an absolute stinker. So you know what I mean?
It could have been a massive curveball, that game. It could have been easily a massive curveball. And when they first scored, I was like, here we go again. But it seems to be, I mean, the player recruitment that Moyes has done is just player for player. I mean, Lingard has just brought us to a whole new level, and we need to sign him. We need to sign him at all costs. We have to.
Definitely.
He's just, I think the way we've been playing, everything ticks the box this year. So
you're totally right. You're totally right, and I think you're right. There was a massive potential banana skin for us, but then again, you know, it's like you look at, like, you know, how people look, and even now you look at our running, you got like West Brom, you're thinking, Big Sam, we might want to stick one on us. You're thinking Brighton, we never play well against Brighton.
No, we never do we?
No, it's just like, I know some other teams are looking at our running going, they've got good running. It's not those games though. In a weird way, having Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, in our last four would be, because we know we turn up for those games, and we hope to. So, Yeah, and I think because we've had so many of those trials and tribulations that we're always a bit hesitant. We don't allow ourselves to dream. Do you know what I mean? We're
It's
always
true,
like,
and do you know? I think you've hit the nail on the head. And I think the way I'm looking at this from the outside, well, from the inside, I suppose, being a West Ham fan, but looking at the way, it's not like we're a Chelsea or a Liverpool, and we've ploughed
no,
millions and millions and millions into it, and the expectation's there. The expectation for West Ham, if we finished, 7th or 8th, I'd consider that a good season for us. And then to move on for the seasons, in the future, especially from last season, we were just like skirting just above relegation.
Yeah.
So for us to be in 5th place, I'm thinking, do you know what? Even if we lose every single game for the rest of the season, it's still an unbelievably good season. So I think the players are kind of having that mentality where they're playing with freedom. It's like, get on the ball, express yourself. And I think they actually are, to be honest with you. Where if the expectation is kind of up there, where we spent loads of millions and we had a new owner that's just splashed out £400 million on our team, then I think the players will be a little bit more kind of on edge. But yeah, that's just what I think. I think we're playing with a lot of freedom in a like carefree kind of way.
Well, yeah, and also it just seems to be, and I know we're talking about, we finished talking about the team, but I think it's important to say that. But I mean, we've got, I think you look at now, I mean, the fact is, in terms of the team spirit and stuff like that, so it's, they seem to be just loving their football. And I think that comes through in terms of how they play on the pitch. That Burnley game, it was 2-1, but, I thought we won 5-0. We were literally that good.
We're in control.
We were in total control. Even when they scored, I was like, nah, oh, well. That's me all season. Yeah, at times we've lost the first goal. Leeds away. Fulham, all these games they score first, and you still think, nah, we're all right. We still got a goal in us, and we haven't had that for so long. So, and again, the West Hamness in us, which is definitely a verb, I think, in the dictionary, is that even now we're going, oh, we're getting Europe, but our squad's not big enough. We'll struggle next season. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy this season. That we can worry 100%. About that. Do you know what I mean? We're always like, we've always got that back in it. Oh yeah, we might have done well this season, but next season, well, we're in the Europa League or whatever. And look at Wolves. Look what happened to Wolves. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's just.
I fully agree with you. Just enjoy, enjoy this ride. Enjoy this ride.
Yeah, enjoy the ride because you don't know how long the ride will last, innit? So, and that's why
I was going to say, we'll probably get relegated next season. So, do you know what I mean? It's one of them where we're up there and we could just enjoy it.
And it's West Ham. That's just West Ham, isn't it? And it's almost like, it's funny, when we had the Newcastle game, I had texts and people messaging me going, that's it, we're back. Well done, West Ham are back. God, that sort of brief period where we were doing all right. Oh, we're back. And everyone sort of was relieved that West Ham were like, not playing well, which was quite an unusual feat. But no, it's it's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. And as you said, I love the fact that your dad got you, and that happens quite a lot. Obviously, a lot of people, it is a hereditary problem. Supporting West Ham. Me, the same as everyone else. But with that, it sort of generates this sort of family atmosphere. And as you said, your old man, you and your old man would go to the games and stuff like that. And you have kids, and then your kids will go, and that's what's important. I don't care. To me, whatever division we're in. It's not necessarily about the football, and I think that's what people have missed in the last 18 months is that sort of closeness, because you can't get that on a TV screen. You can't go and meet your mates for a pint on the boats or in the supporters club, and win or lose, you still do the same things. You'll still go to the pub afterwards,
absolutely,
and regardless of the result, and regardless of what's of what division you're in as well. So yeah, I think people be, as you said, be more appreciative of those types of things when everything gets sorted
definitely
out. So yeah,
definitely
should be good. Right, let's go to the 11. Let's go to the 11. So as I said, everyone we gave on the channel, apart from Harry. Harry was one of the ones who didn't do an 11 actually. Too busy talking about Bobby Ferguson, who's on the channel very soon. No, he'll be out. He'll be on the channel after. No. This will go out on the Friday. Yeah. So we've already had Bobby Ferguson on the channel. So anyway, so this will go after. So there we go. If you haven't seen it, go and see Bobby Ferguson. But anyway, you can pick whoever you want, man. But the only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. Otherwise, we'd have all put Bobby Moore and Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooke in our team.
The thing.
We weren't around to see him. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, I saw him manage, but I never saw Bonzi or Bonzo or Brooke in play. So that's why we have that sort of rule. So in goal, who's in goal for Finegan 11?
I'm gonna put in Ludo McCosco. Simple reason. I mean, there's been some good keepers with us. David James, I thought was absolutely exceptional, to be honest with you. And he's the one keeper that I probably saw the most of at Upton Park. You know, even now, you know, up to date, we've had some great kind of keepers, like Fabianski. But for me, McCloskey was the absolute standout. He's played over like 350 games for us, I think, and he's just a true, just a consistent keeper. And he was just this big like presence. I remember at Upton Park watching him, you know, to certain games, and he just had this big vocal voice, and it was like a real demanding keeper. And then obviously when he retired, he was part of the coaching setup, and it was just an integral part of West Ham. So yeah, for me, I think Ludo. I think that was quite an easy one for me, actually, Ludo McCloskey.
Sure, and you're right. Yeah, he was just like a big giant of a man, wasn't he? Really, and a gentle giant. You know, everyone knew if you managed to meet him, he's a very sensitive, very caring, kind man. But as you said, just an absolute beast in terms of just his size and domineering presence. And no, he's great guy, Ludo is. Right, okay, we'll put Ludo in. Defense. Who's your first defender then?
Right, do you know what, Ross? I've gone. I don't know if I'm being difficult, but I want to have a 3-5-2 formation.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Is this possible? Because
this is for you, Jason. Anything's possible. So yeah, we can do a 3-5-2.
It's a difficult one because I was looking at the 4-4-2 and looking at. I'm thinking there's no standouts in that, and the way I've got these players, I'm thinking this is the best formation for them. So,
okay.
Number one on the left-hand side. I mean, this is an absolute easy pick for me, Julian Dix, which he's been in every single squad. Yeah, because I'm a 4-4-2 and I had Julian Dix on the left, but for me, I'm going for the 3-5-2.
So you've been Moisified, haven't you, into this 3-5-2 formation now? So yeah, the Moisification of West Ham. Right, we'll put Julian. Yeah, I mean, what can we say?
I mean, there's not too much to say about Julian. I mean, less is more, really. I mean, what an absolute outstanding player he was. It was just everything. His penalties were just. I remember watching. I think it was the Man United game. I think he actually did break the net. It was just. It was just an absolute beast of a player. And he had that kind of fear factor. There wasn't many kind of fear. You had your Roy Keanes and Vieiras at the later stages, but Julian Dix was that. You know, I think he lost a lot of. Or kind of in kind of games, I think the battles were won with Julian, like mentally, before he even touched the ball. I think he put that much kind of fear into players. But make no mistake about it, he could play as well. He didn't used to kind of warm up. He used to literally just come from the changing room, trot out, and just play an amazing game, and then just trot back. So if he played as well as he did then, could you even imagine if he did things like, you know, stretching, yoga, do you know what I mean? These kind of things he would be, but you know, that made Julian him. So you can't take that away from him. But yeah, for me, Julian Dix was the easiest pick on my team sheet.
No, definitely. I know what you mean. And when I interviewed him, I asked him that question. I said, "You never warmed up?" He went, "No, didn't need to." Didn't need to. In my warm up, Russ, was I think you had a can of Coke and a Mars bar. I used to sit in a hot bath with his boots on, his shorts or something like that. And it's like
unthinkable,
just crazy, isn't it? Nowadays, as you said, with yoga and nutritionists, and, you know, and he used to get who was it? I think it was Lou Macari. He stopped him. He brought in, like, he was sort of a little bit new age in that, a little bit pre-Wenger-ish in terms of, you know, not no ketchup, but like, you know, stop drinking Cokes and things like that. And so I think he told me a story where he went to a hotel and like a pre-match, and he ordered up 2 pints of Coke, and they hadn't arrived. And he said, "Why not?" And he found out down the hotel because Lou said, "No, it's all right, bring them up." And like, you know, nowadays it's like you wouldn't. I mean, I've even stopped drinking as much Diet Coke as I used to now, and it's like, you know, and he was a professional football player, but
I know
football was a different day there. And he actually asked Harry asked him to warm up once, and he came back in and went, "I've done my hamstring in, Harry," and he was like, "What?" He hadn't, but he just wanted to prove that he didn't have to go out. And I love it. Top boy.
He said there's this one training session many years ago. You hear about the milk float incident?
No.
I think he said he was. It was pre-season, and I think he did like half the session, and he just couldn't be asked to do the rest. It was a running session in pre-season.
Yeah.
And he just had enough. So he literally just kind of stood on the road because they used to go running around the block, and a milk float went past. And he said, "Mate, can you just take me around the block back to the training ground?" And he said, "For you, Julian, I'll do anything." So he jumped on a milk float, went all the way back rounds, and he went back to the training pitch. But that just shows you like the kind of
Stories,
me saying like he was an amazing player. Imagine what he could be like if he kind of ate well, drunk well, yoga and all that stuff. But having said that, on the flip side, if he did do all that, it may have taken a few things away from him. So
yeah, no, I
it's
totally
like
agree.
Wayne Rooney. Rooney was just, an aggressive kind of player, and he didn't have the best kind of diets and stuff like that. But again, it's one of them things. If you take that aggressiveness out of someone like Wayne Rooney, he's not the same player.
Yeah, no, he's
So
true.
it might be the same with Julian. It's a different
You're
era as
right.
well.
Yeah, you're right. If you took that away from him, he might not have had that pit, that sort of that extra bit.
Carefree.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
And what I love as well is those stories about training and how different, how it is compared to now, and like we've interviewed lots of older players as well, like in the 60s, and how they sort of ran like all the way around like Epping Forest and Hainault for like hours, and then would come back to Chadwell Heath and they'd have a full roast dinner waiting for them. And stuff like that. It's like the last thing I'd want to eat is meat and two veg after having done a 20-mile run. But that's as if I do as if I'd run 20 miles. But you know what I mean? It's like it's just so different, and it's so funny how how football's just changed, and stories. I love interviewing the older players because their stories are fantastic. But yeah. Anyway, Julian's in. We've got Ludo. We've got
Julian's
Julian.
in.
Who's next?
Yeah.
Who's next?
I've gone for Rio.
Yeah.
I was contemplating whether to put him in or not, but I'm thinking, well, do you know what? He's actually played a lot more than I thought. He's played over 150 games.
Yep.
Just a Rolls Royce of a player. I would have loved him to stay longer, because I remember when we sold him to Leeds, 18 million. It was obviously a lot of money, but it just shows you the kind of player that he was, because obviously he moved on to obviously Man United, and I mean, look at him now, one of the best defenders in England's ever to produce. It's just a shame we didn't keep the golden boys of the Rios, the Lampards, the Coles, the Carrick, Ben Johnson, Defoe. I mean, could you imagine? But hindsight's obviously a great thing, but I just don't think I know for a fact we didn't utilise the money well enough with Rio. 18 million.
No.
We bought players like Titi Kamara and Rigobert Song, and it was just like we just spunked all the money, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I think Harry had a difficult job. I think it was still Harry was still there then, wasn't he?
Yep.
And I know he didn't want to sell him, but 18 million was a lot of money back then, to be fair. It was just one of them where if he had went to Man United then I could have understood it. But Leeds, it wasn't. I didn't really kind of understand that. To be honest with you.
I mean, Leeds was enough. Again, it's like Leeds. They were obviously challenging, weren't they? Used to be a challenge. Used to get into Champions League and stuff like that. But I know what you mean, and especially because Leeds, he was only there for a relatively short time at Leeds before they flipped him and doubled their or tripled their money. I think went back for almost 50 million or something, wasn't it? And yeah, it was that time where anyone who was half decent, we'd watch them. And then we go, they're brilliant, but how long until they go? We had him, we had Glenn Johnson, you said we had Lampard, we had Carricks and Joe Coles and Defoe's, and what that team could have been, we asked Harry the same question. He said we would have won the league, and there's nothing to question. We wouldn't have won the league potentially, but as you said, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? And we got the stand. We made a stand selling Rio, the Rio. So it is what it is, isn't it? So might never had that money to redevelop it so quickly. So it's one of those things.
All things happen for a reason, don't they? It's just difficult. I would have just liked us to have kind of spent the money a bit more wisely, or a lot more wisely, to be honest with you. But it's one of them things, isn't it?
It is indeed. Right. Okay. So
Rio's locked in.
Yep. Who's next?
I've got Rio as the sweeper, Julian on the left, and this one was actually a really difficult one for me because I was going to go for Steve Potts, but I didn't really feel that I saw him enough.
Yeah.
And I know he's made a load of, well over like 400, nearly 500 appearances, I think, for West Ham. And his class is obviously a West Ham great. I just feel I put in Declan Rice. I don't know he's fresh, but if you look at, he's played 142 games for us so far. Rio's had 158. So if you think about it, it's actually very, very similar. So I couldn't choose Rio without Declan, and I'm a big fan of Declan Rice. And I just think he's an amazing player. I really, really do. I hope that he stays with us for for a while. If he was to leave, then we're talking absolutely mega bucks. If you're talking Harry Maguire for 80 million, I'm sorry, but Declan Rice is 100 million minimum. As crazy as that sounds. So I don't think he's going anywhere for a while, especially now that we've done really well this year. But yeah, this was a difficult one for me. So you've had loads of because I was originally going to have 4-4-2, and then I was thinking about Tim Breaker, maybe we could push him on the right, but I don't know. So I thought, 3-5-2 with Rio sweeping, you've got Declan Rice, Julian. I think that's triple threat.
Start. I think it's a good
triple
start,
threat.
Jason. And you're right. You're right, Declan. I don't think there's, until Frank Lampard left Chelsea, I didn't really assume that as you said. I think now he seems because he knows that Mark's leaving retiring at the end of the season, the next season as well. It's like I just think there's a natural progression for him as well as a player. And as you said, he's 140 odd games, and he could easily surpass the likes of Mark, the likes of Potsy, the likes of Bobby Moore, potentially bloody Bonzo, like 799 or something ridiculous like that. How old he is, and as you said, because he's always got the option of when his legs start going, of moving back into the centre back positions. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing.
To prolong his career. So.
I mean, that's the thing with Ricey, because I know obviously he's defensive midfielder for us. And I say defensive midfielder, he's more, I wouldn't say box to box, but he does get up a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's got that energy.
More.
So, and I've seen him at centre back, and he's, he's just so solid. So I think he's got, flexibility. Exactly what you said, Russ. He's young, and when his legs do go eventually, whenever that be, in many years to come, I think it's inevitable that he'll drop back. So for me, I know he's only kind of he's not a West Ham legend at the moment, but looking at his appearances and stats and whatnot, he's only, about 10 or 12 games behind Rio. So for me, he fully warrants it, to be honest with you.
No, definitely. We'll put Deck in. Okay, that's your back three. Let's go into your five or wherever we're going. Who are we going first?
All right, so I'm going for the three in middle. So I'm going for Mark Noble. For obvious reasons, he's just been an absolute legend of West Ham, to be honest with you. You had players like Carrick that I'm thinking Carrick was probably better technically than Mark. But someone like Mark Noble, I've taken into consideration the caps he's had for us, the longevity, what he's kind of actually delivered for West Ham. And I just think hand in hand, it just makes an obvious pick for me. Mark Noble, he's coming to the end of it, obviously his career. He's got another year with us, but I think more what he's delivered off the pitch as well, rather than just inside. I mean, he's literally West Ham through and through. The term running through a wall, he would literally run through a wall for West Ham. So that for me, I think that speaks volumes. If he couldn't play and he's just played a lot of games, then he doesn't warrant the position. But for me, he can play. He's proved that he can do it, and like I said, he's just West Ham through and through. So
he is, and what I think people, obviously people look at, people like Billy Bonds and stuff like that, and Bobby Moore. What people forget about Mark Noble is he's won fuck all. You know what I mean? It's like he's been for a team. He's played like five. He's been here 17 seasons on a team that has been relegated a couple of times. I know Bonzo was, we were relegated sometimes, but they still had some success in terms of 19 FA Cup final and more obviously 65 and various others. He hasn't had any success really in that respect, and he's still been here. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's great. Although he hasn't maybe played 200 games or 300 games less than Billy Bonds. Those games he's played have been hard. He's had a lot of different managers, a lot of different regimes as well, and he's still been there, and he's still put.
That's what I mean. He's exactly. He's been relied upon, time after time. Whether that's it being in the Premiership or getting relegated, or he's never kind of slapped in a transfer request, or he's never kind of ruffled any feathers. He's just kind of got on with it. Even the last kind of year or two where he hasn't played as much football, he's just got on with it. I never forget that game when I can't remember who was playing. It might be, was it Man United? I can't remember. But player was down. I think he was losing, and obviously there was only about 10 minutes left. But he wanted to hurry the game up, and whoever the player was,
Yeah, Man United.
who was it? Was it Man United? Yeah, wasn't it?
Herrera.
And,
I think it was Herrera he picked
is
up.
it Herrera? Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was
Yeah.
Herrera, and he was just sitting there, and Mark Noble literally just picked him up and physically dragged him off the pitch. And it's just one of that. That was the key moment where it was just like, do you know what? You want this so bad. You are literally West Ham through and through. You just get off the pitch and just play football.
Yeah.
So yeah, just absolute icon.
Yeah,
Absolute
it
icon.
totally is, man. Totally is.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put Nobes in. Who is next?
This for me was a very, very difficult position for me, because I've gone for a few like in my head, and I'm still not 100% to be honest with you, but I'm going to go for him. Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
Reason why I've gone for Frank, he's made 187 appearances for us. Is again, it was a lot more than I thought. Obviously, like Rio, you know, the kind of similar appearances.
Yeah.
And I just feel that the way he kind of bounced back at the beginning. I'll never forget that interview with Harry Redknapp, the famous interview. Harry Redknapp and Lampard was sitting there as a fans forum, and the fans forum were basically saying, just because you're, you know, the assistant manager's son, you warrant a place over Scott Cannon.
Yeah.
And when Harry came out and said that, what he had to say, this boy is going to reach the very highest level. And look at him now. Obviously, he didn't reach those high levels as he did at Chelsea to West Ham. But for me, and I know how hard he works. Like, even I used to watch, like, I didn't really say it, but I used to sneak in Chelsea training grounds. I used to live near like the Cobham area, and I used to literally just watch him. And I probably went about 7-8 times with my friends just watching. At the beginning of every single training session, he used to literally just do sprints from the halfway line to the goal, and he did that before and after. And I've heard that through so many players saying Frank Lampard used to stay behind and work, because let's face it, he wasn't the most gifted of footballers.
No.
But he's the absolute epitome of someone, you know, if you want something hard enough, you've got to damn work hard for it. And he absolutely has. And that's what he delivered for West Ham as well.
Yeah.
So I think he was someone that, and obviously I've taken into consideration, obviously, the amount of money that we've got for him as well. So he's done great for the club. So there's a lot of factors gone in with Lampard. It was difficult between him, Michael Carrick, and people like John Moncur. John Moncur was somebody that I was thinking maybe he could just pip him. Steve Lomas, obviously Ian Bishop. But yeah, I think natural, or what he's kind of done for West Ham, like ability-wise, and the natural choice for me is Frank Lampard, to be honest with you. And the fact that I've actually seen him a bit more than I did with the others as well.
Yeah,
that was another factor.
And you're right. And you're right. All the ex-players do say how he used to train harder than anyone else, because he knew he had that sort of weight on his back, really, and clearly that benefited his career at Chelsea and England and Man City and New York and everywhere else, you know. So fair play to him. Right, okay, we'll put so we've got Noble, we've got Lampard. Who's next?
Yep. So I've got Noble and Lampard just sitting, and then I've got Joe Cole. I've gone for Joe Cole. Again, this was quite an easy pick for me, because he's made well over 180 appearances for us, and Joe Cole, like, he was watching him at Upton Park. He was the reason. Him and Palace Canio, they just bought something. It was attacking football, and it was just skill. It was pace. It's like the audacity of the tricks. I didn't see the game, but it was a Coventry youth game that I heard that he just absolutely took the absolute piss, to be honest with you. And he was sort of juggling it on his head and doing kick ups, and just, you can still see some of the clips on
it's crazy.
online. But he was just at an absolute different level, to be honest with you. Captain West Ham at such a young age. I think he got, you know, a lot of stick for leaving West Ham, but equally, I completely understood it. He wants to win trophies, and going to Chelsea, that was hard to take. But he just wants it. He didn't go for the money. Obviously, the money, obviously got a lot more money in the later years at Chelsea. But for me, he's someone that I think he just wanted to win trophies, and I don't, you know, have any kind of grudge on that, to be honest with you. But for me, Joe Cole. I remember when I was younger, I was playing in a it was like a youth final myself. It was like a school one, and they asked me what number I wanted to be, and I was sent to midfield, and I could have had, you know, well, any number 7, number 8, whatever number I wanted. Number 10 was available. I wanted number 26. I was like, what do you mean you want number 26? Joe Cole. I wanted to be Joe Cole. At number 26, I had my hair. I shaved my head off. And do you remember? I don't know if you remember, but he had this J. It was a red J.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, I looked like an absolute twat, to be honest with you. But at the time, I was just so absolutely fascinated with him, and he was just like, I was just incredible. So yeah, Joe Cole was an easy pick for me.
Yeah,
And what he brought
yeah.
to West Ham, he was just,
No, I totally agree with Joe. Totally agree, man. Right, okay, so we've got Noble, Lampon, Joe in the 3. Right, who's next then?
Right, the 2 wing backs, I've gone for. Right, this is another one. There's always a dilemma with my little picks. So left wing back, I've gone for Trevor Sinclair.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of going on the right, but I'll explain my reasons why. But I put him on the left because he's had 200 appearances for us, and I think when he signed from QPR, I think we needed someone like Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, we did
more than anybody. We played him up front, we played him on the wing. I think he had a few games in the middle, but he really did a job for us, especially up front when we needed him. And I just think he brought that extra quality that we didn't have at the time. Yeah. We got him at a really good fee as well, and I'm just a big Trevor Sinclair fan, and I think what he's done for our club, he still loves us. He speaks very
he does
highly of us. He's on your pod actually. I watched that episode.
He's a top boy. Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, and do you know what? Funny enough, I played in a charity game with him last year, or against him. Sorry, it was him and Danny Murphy in the middle, and I couldn't get near him. Like Trevor Sinclair, he's still the fittest of the fittest. Technically, he was just bopping it around, and it was just. Honestly, he was just still phenomenal. He just still loves the game. Brilliant, but I think what he's offered for West Ham is flexibility and he can play in a number of positions. And I think he fully deserves, to be in my team, to be honest with you. So I think
totally. I think he's great. Yeah,
Trev, he's going in.
Love him. No, I love him. He's a top boy. He's out. He's been on a few things we've done and loves the club. Absolutely adores the club and adores the fans, and you see that there's certain players. You mentioned people like Bish and people like that, and the way they still interact with the fans, but with people on Twitter and things like that. But it's every club he's been at, and Sinks is the same. It's not just West Ham; it is Man City as well. It is QPR with Bish. It's still Walsall. It's still Man City. And they're both. Yeah, I think I love Trev, and we'll get a like because every time he's in it, he watches most of them, and if he's in it, he likes them. So there we go.
Good man.
Trevor will like it. Right. Okay. So put Trevor on the left. Who's going to go on the right then?
Right. Do you know what? This is. I'm speaking like I'm at a youthful. I'm showing my age really, but I'm going to go for Antonio. And the reason why I've gone for Antonio, this was probably the hardest one for me actually. This particular position because I was going to have Trevor Sinclair on the right and on the left. I mean, you've got players like Dimitri Payet. Like if we're just talking about raw ability, I would say Payet any day. And obviously, what he did for us that season was absolutely phenomenal. But the way he left us, and I don't think he merits the position because Payet was only with us for like a year, 2 years. So I just don't think he quite did enough for us. Cool. He did amazing things, but I just think with what Antonio's done. I mean, again, he's had over 175 appearances for us.
It's crazy, and he's two off the top all-time score, isn't it? Premier League.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of stats that people don't actually kind of realise about Antonio, and they don't realise just how good he is. Obviously, he's been doing wonders for us, up front. But he, when he played on the right, he played right back, right wing. He's played left wing before. He's just again, it's the same situation as Trevor Sinclair. Really,
Indeed,
he just offers us so much, flexibility in the way he plays. But I think what he's done for West Ham, and I think he's the kind of player that is loyal, and I think he's going to be with us for a few more years. I think he's just he's not. I'm a big fan. I'm a big Antonio fan. He's got that likability as well. Yeah, because even if he's not scoring, or he's still tenacious and he gives 100%. And I think that's for all teams, you need someone like Antonio. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Antonio.
Yeah, I am as well. I think when he plays, he makes the team work. He's critical for the way Moyes plays in his team, and he's just when he's on it. There's no honestly. I don't think there's anyone better in the Premier League. When he's on it, when he's got that bit between his teeth, like that half an hour against Wolves, where he and obviously the Burnley game. He terrorizes those defenders. And that's what I mean. I don't think it's just so unusual. There's no one else like him in the Premier League. And when he's in the team, he gives us that extra 10%. He gives us that option, don't we? You can see so many times we just like literally punt. It looks like we're aimlessly punting it, but we're just like literally down the channels, isn't it? So and he just runs it. Just
give it to Antonio.
It is. It just bundles his way through. But Yeah, no, I think it's great. Just raw pace and raw power, and
Mm,
I respect guys who have come through. You know, like him, Jamie Vardy, people like that who've come through the ranks. You know, they haven't
the
just
lower
gone to
leagues, yeah,
they haven't just gone to
yeah,
like an academy when they're
mm,
17 and stayed there, or 12 or whatever, and worked their way through. He's done the hard yards, and he almost like it's almost like he's appreciating every game he's playing because he knows where he's come from, and that makes a huge difference. And
yeah.
no, he's great. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Antonio is the right wing back. Okay, up front then, who are we going to have?
Up front, I've gone for Marco Boogers and Savio.
Perfect. Yep.
Absolutely joking. Can you imagine?
So, who picked Marco Boogers?
Shut up. Don't tell me someone's put Marco
Someone picked
Boogers.
Well,
You're
Martin
lying.
Allen tried to pick Marco Boogers.
No, he
But
did
then
not.
because he used to room
no
with
way.
him. Harry put him in a room with Marco Boogers. You've got like Marco Boogers is like a weirdo, and then you got Martin Allen, and he roomed them together. Marco Boogers actually turned me down for an interview. That's when you know. That's when you know you've made it. When you've made it, when Marco Boogers has turned me down from an interview.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow. I'm surprised you even got his contact details, to be fair.
Oh, you know me, Jason.
Jeez.
I've got little fingers, little pies, and
amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, but who picked Marco Boogers?
No.
James John from We Are West Ham. He picked Marco Boogers because he has possibly the only Marco Boogers printed shirt in history. Because he got his shirt done, and his dad said, "Oh, get this! I've just signed this guy called Boogers. Get him on your back." He's still got the shirt. Right. Anyway.
So no, on a serious note, I've gone for. I mean, there's so many good. I mean, Tevez was. Thinking Tevez. I mean, if we're going for natural ability, if he stayed with us for 4 or 5 seasons, he'll be in my squad. I don't care if he's playing left back, right back. He'll be in my squad because what he did for us was absolutely amazing. I think he single-heartedly he saved us from getting relegated. To be honest with you, how we still stayed in the division without getting points docked, I do not know, to be fair. Because anyway, that's a different story. But no, I've gone for Tony Cottee. Tony Cottee, TC, yeah. I remember the first time. I mean, my dad told me so much about him, and I remember watching him on many, many occasions. And he played in a friendly game. It was actually at Woking, at Kingfield Stadium. It was a friendly game. It was many, many years ago. And my dad, I don't know how he got him to do it, but he got Tony to meet me before the game and just to kind of like say hello. And I remember him shaking my hand, and I don't think I washed my hand for about 3 days. It was just, I idolized him, like Tony Cottee, especially me being young. I played up front at the time, and it was just someone I really looked up to.
Yeah.
And I don't even need to say too much about Tony Cottee. Obviously, McAvenny was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
My dad would have picked him in his team because McAvenny and Cottee, it was like the York and Cole of West Ham, and but I think that was just a bit before my time. Same with players like Trevor Brooking and players like that.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, I think Tony Cottee that was an easy decision for me. But having said that, there's been so many greats. Like I said, Tevez, Johnny Hartson. He was another one that was, I've watched him so many times playing for West Ham, and him and Kitson.
Yeah,
like they literally saved us as well from relegation. So
they did.
He was really hard to not at least kind of consider. But for me, the absolute standout, TC, because of what he kind of brought for West Ham, the goals and just everything. It was amazing
Top
to
boy.
watch. Tony Cottee,
top boy, wasn't he?
So yeah.
Okay, he's in. Who's going to be the last piece of this pie then?
My last piece is the one and only. I used to call him God, and I still do. Number 10, Paolo Di Canio. He was. I noticed that his name just flicked up quickly then because you knew who I was going to put.
I just knew. You get a feeling. You get a feeling when you start talking.
Come on.
Yeah. Some people didn't. Watch David James's one. He forgot to put Paolo in.
He forgot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did, yeah. And I know he forgot because actually afterwards we had, because he was doing some stuff for the club, and I know, and the people he was doing it with Jack and Chris and Colin, and they were talking about he's like, oh yeah, I did the thing with Russ. And he was like, I forgot Paolo Di Canio. I couldn't believe I forgot Paolo Di Canio. Yeah, he forgot him.
He played with him.
He played with him. That's what I mean. God's sake.
But I mean, what can you? Again, less is more. I can't. I'm running out of words to. It's just Paolo Di Canio. What he did for us. Again, like I mentioned about watching Joe Cole and Paolo Di Canio in the same team. For me, it was just. It brought a new dimension to West Ham, and it was just for me at that time. That's what football's about. That's what West Ham fans want to see: attacking play, tenacious. We bought him for 1.7 million. Remember Harry
Yeah.
Redknapp? You know, I think was it
Mental.
Peter Storey at the time? He said,
Yeah, would have been. Yeah, yeah.
was it Terence Brown? Yeah, it might have been Peter Storey. I remember Harry Redknapp doing an interview saying, "No, you cannot. Are you crazy? You can't sign Canio. He's just pushed over the referee," and it was almost like, "Do not touch him."
Yeah.
But that's what I love about Harry Redknapp. He just ruffled the diamond, and I mean, look what he's done for us. He's literally a club legend, an
Yeah,
absolute legend.
totally.
So yeah, got his autobiography, which I've read like 2 or 3 times, and he's just. I remember when I first got the autobiography, talking about like cans of Coke and stuff earlier. He used to drink a lot of Coke, and he said in his autobiography he was addicted to drinking Coca-Cola. And they tried, his parents and everybody tried to stop him taking it, but he just loved it so much he took it, or drunk it on a daily basis. So I remember me at the time thinking, I'm only 13, 14, I'm going to do what Canio did. So I was just drinking cans of Coke purely, no other reason, just because Canio did. But no, listen, Canio was my absolute, absolute hero. There was no comparison. I just like to give a little mention to Samasi Abu and Darnay. Remember Darnay?
I remember Darnay.
We only had him for a season, but he was someone that I mean, obviously they didn't get close to my team, but I think Abu was just a funny player that I just used to, for some reason. I mean, he wasn't the most gifted player, but there was something about Samasi Abu that I just thought.
I think the fact is because you booed him when he came on, you know, and I think because of his name, but yeah, he had crazy eyes, crazy hair.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
And you never know, he could come up on this. He could turn up on the channel. He could turn up one day.
I'd love to see Samasi Abu.
He could turn up on the day.
But yeah,
we're in talks.
So yeah,
I know what you mean.
That's my team.
No, it's good, man. It's good. I know what you mean, but Paolo was just that. And again, you said you got Sinclair, you got a lot of, you know, there's guys there, and there's that era, that Redknapp era, I just loved as well. I thought it was just such a fun era.
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't a bad team. That ain't a bad team, is it? Let's be honest.
That is solid, to be fair.
That's solid.
I mean, Sinclair and Antonio, they're just absolute workhorses. Absolute workhorses. You got Julian at the back, who's just going to be stern. You got Rio with the skills and the Rolls Royce of a player is, and you got the skills of Joe Cole and DeCanio up there with the goals of Cotty. Look at that team! Wow,
that's having it. That's having it. And I think that's what we're missing from our team is that striker. Do you know what I mean? I think if we had a striker, we would be a very dangerous team. How many chances we could? I mean, Antonio Bessim, although he's got 40, wherever he is now, 45 Premier League goals, he could have at least another 10, 15 of the shots he's missed this season. Do you know what I mean? So that's sort of we'd be you know, second, third easily with that team. Good stuff. Yeah. Jason, man, it's been lovely. Been lovely.
Good stuff.
Lovely.
Thanks so much for having me, Russ.
Absolute pleasure. It's been fun, and obviously thanks everyone for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Myself and from Jason, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Get those jabs when you get your reports, when you get your appointments. I've got my second one soon, so that's good. I'll be done. I'll be all sorted. And for myself and for Jason, come on, you irons, and we'll see you again.
Come on, you irons.
Come on,
cheers,
you
guys.
Irons. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.